Claudia is visiting for the weekend. She has a new haircut and blonde and brown highlights that make her look incredibly glamorous. She keeps tossing it ever so casually to keep it fluffy and voluminous. It's also Captain Orion's newest haircut, as seen on the hollow cover of Fashion Today. It's almost as if Orion is sitting at their dinner table, albeit shorter and Asian and, well, Claudia. Jess pushes the vegetables around on her plate as Claudia prattles on about her newest exploits in Crystal Springs. She got a key to the city, blah blah, new hero award, blah blah blah, is doing exciting missions with the League. Victor listens, spellbound. It's been a dream of Victor Trans to get a key to the city, even to Andover. But at most he's gotten a certificate and a sandwich named after Shockwave. But Claudia is a star. Despite their 7-year age difference, Jess and Claudia were inseparable before Brendan was born. Jess adored her older sister, hero-worshipped her, and was constantly in awe as Claudia grew into her powers. Flying was the first thing Claudia learned how to do. By age 11, she was already outracing their dad, following behind him on missions. Following behind him on missions. I think that's a typo. She was able to use her powers for much longer than their dad, and it was clear that she was going to be A-class. And then there'll be 3 of us, Claudia said. We'll be the best crime-fighting team ever, once you get your powers and then the baby too. Claudia took Jess on a secret flight once, right when their mum was pregnant with Brendan. Jess was scared, but held on tight as Claudia flew over the vast desert, all golden hues where cactuses were standing tall. The warm afternoon light stretched out to the horizon, and Claudia giggled as she flew them over a broad canyon to marvel at the green-blue river below. At the water, Sorry, I totally misread that. As she flew them over a broad canyon to marvel at the green-blue river below, at the water calmly travelling to its final destination. Jess marvelled at the feeling of the wind running through her hair. Her super-strong sister held her aloft as if she weighed nothing, and they soared through the air until the city was nothing but a glittering streak in the vast desert. The blue sky was laced with light. The sun was starting to make its way towards the Earth's edge, and they soared past fluffy clouds, whirling around and around them until Jess laughed hysterically. Claudia threw her up in the air, and for a few breathless moments, Jess was flying on her own, hearing nothing but her own blood racing through her body, and her heart pounding furiously as she started to fall. Claudia caught her. "Not yet, Jessie Bessie," she said, chuckling. "Soon, soon, you'll be able to fly too." Jess never learnt to fly. After that night, Claudia got caught up in training with her parents, and then a few years later, while still in high school, she started the meta-human training program early. When, at puberty, Jess didn't show any signs of having powers, Claudia ignored her to hang out with all her new friends in meta-human training. Now, Jess hardly recognizes her sister. They have the same flat nose, the same brown eyes, the same black hair. Claudia blossomed in adolescence. Now she's full-figured, with model-worthy hair and designer clothes. She finished college with honors and graduated meta-human training with an offer to join the League. She's a larger-than-life hero. Even their parents seemed in awe of her. And then Captain Orion said, "Wait, you got to meet her?" Jess perks up. "What was she like?" Claudia pauses and takes a drink of water. Absolutely down to earth, you know? Like the pressure of being the country's greatest superhero hasn't fazed her at all. And she's got so much on her shoulders, with the League and the never-ending fight against crime. Okay, what happened at the Battle of New Miranda? I heard Coldfront died. Claudia looks scandalized, with her brows drawn tightly together and her mouth slightly open. He's being held in a high-security cell at Metahuman Corrections. He couldn't have died. The League doesn't kill anyone. That's for villains. What villains have killed anyone? Not since the war. They killed, Claudia says, waving her hand vaguely. Oh, before I forget, I got you a present. Oh, thanks. I got the gift card you gave to Mum and Dad. You didn't need to get me anything else. Claudia shrugs. This was just a present for my last trip to New Bright City. I got something for everyone. She pulls a glossy photograph out of her purse. It's bent in a few places, and in the corner, in silver ink, is a hastily scrawled, "For Tess," and Captain Orion's signature. Thanks. Jess holds the photograph gingerly between her thumb and forefinger. It's the same photo she got in the mail last week as part of the Captain Orion Fan Club's monthly newsletter, except that one spelled her name correctly. What about me? Brendan asks. He's practically bouncing in his seat. Claudia digs into her bag and pulls out action figures of Captain Orion, Starscream, and Copycat and hands them over. Brendan looks disappointed, but he just says thanks and accepts the figures. The 13-year-old hasn't played with toys since he was a kid. I want to hear all about your super-secret lab, Brendan says. The conversation turns to science, and Jess tunes out. After dinner, Jess expects Claudia to hang out with her parents, or maybe reconnect with some of her friends in the area, but instead she pulls Jess aside. So, I heard from Mum and Dad that, oh, happy birthday, by the way, Claudia says, like an afterthought. There's a hollow of them as children behind them. Claudia, a happy teenager, standing next to a young Jess, holding baby Brendan. That you're not going to present with any powers. And that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But I know you really want to do the hero thing, and I came up with a great idea. What? You could be my sidekick. Okay, usually hero support requires that the sidekick presents with at least D-class power, but I think if you want to hang back in the lab, you can totally help with the tech side of things. Maybe monitor the holo feeds and work with the communications team. I had to pull a lot of strings, and you can totally meet Captain Orion too, in person. Isn't that great? You could start with this as soon as your spring quarter. It could be like an internship. Mum mentioned you were looking for a job, right? Some time ago? A few weeks ago, this idea might be interesting. But now, to be asked to be in her sister's shadow yet again, it's just patronizing. She has a job now where she's important and needed. M needs her. Master Mischief and Mistress Mischief need her. Thanks, Jess says. But I'm gonna have to pass. I have a job already. Working for Monroe Industries, or M's secret lab, is challenging, but also entertaining at times. Jess finds answers to a lot of questions about how the Mischiefs planned their pranks, but ends up with even more questions about the more elaborate cons. More often than not, M's suit is clanking away alongside her. Jess wonders, because this suit was Master Mischief's, can it do similar things? She knows it can fly, but is that a modification, or does M have similar powers? Jess doesn't know a lot about the specifics of Master Mischief's powers, but his suit was tailored to his technopath abilities. Maybe it's been modified so someone who isn't a metahuman can use it? Maybe M does just wear the suit to pretend to the rest of Monroe Industries that she's Master Mischief. But the lab is empty, and there isn't anyone working on the many electronic experiments in the main room, despite the large number of workspaces and the unfinished projects scattered all over the room. The receptionist desk is empty, and there's a light at the far end of the hall where Jess assumes Abby's working on something for M. How long has Abby been working here? Jess asks. M's suit beeps, and then responds with a stiffly electronic 3 months. Funny, I've never seen her wear those work clothes at school. I mean, not that I notice, but it would be kind of hard to miss if she was wearing that skirt. Jess sighs. She looks great in that skirt. Her butt is so cute. The suit chirps. You okay? Yes, fine. So you're friends with Abby at school? Em asks. Not really. She's kind of super intimidating. I see, Em says. The tone of her voice is flat. I mean, I think I tried talking to her once, but then I got super distracted. She has really nice hair. It looks so fluffy and soft. M makes a strangled electronic noise. You okay there, M? Yeah, I need to get you all the files pertaining to the museums, but I don't know where they are in the warehouse. Jess shrugs and points. M's suit chirps at her. What are you doing? I don't know. Have you tried looking in that corner? M pauses, her visor blank, and regarding Jess for a moment, before she says, Sure, why not? Despite the sarcastic tone, M does walk out of the office, and Jess continues with her work. A few moments later, M returns with a box and starts unpacking it. Thanks. Mm-hmm, Jess says. Going with a random direction is useful sometimes. Random, M repeats, but she doesn't bring it up again.